All right, Appo. We're doing it, I think. I think we've got it. Well, hey there, everyone. It's Anthony, back with another video here on Single and Placing. Hi. We're here at the City of Arvada Open Space, Arvada Reservoir, and Tucker Lake. Yes, I remembered what this place is called, mainly because there's a sign there, and also because I looked at it on the map when we parked to make sure that I could get the name right. We've been here who knows how many times, but yeah, we're here for a little stroll with the boy, getting some exercise in, and yeah, figured I'd do a little vlog life update. It's been a few months, couple months since I've done one of these, and yeah, we're doing it. So yeah, hope you're doing well, having a fantastic day, weekday, weekend, week, month, evening, morning, overnight, all of that good stuff. Yeah, so we're gonna let him sniff and investigate. Apollo's doing good. As you can see, he's still around, still kicking, my little baby boy. He's been on this kick recently. Well, actually, we might have a potty break here in a second, but we'll see. He used to just sniff something and then pee on it regardless. And now he's really into like hyper investigating what he wants and then being very selective with what he pees on. Oh, potty break. Okay, we're back. So yeah, just being really selective with what he decides to pee on. So it's been making our walks take longer and longer because he'll just sniff and sniff. I'm like, come on, go potty. And then he like sniffs and sniffs. And then he's like, no, not this tree, not this bush. And I'm like, dude, just do the thing so we can make our way through our route, you know, that we normally do when we go on walks. So it's been interesting. So I brought him out here because this is usually where I come out to, like when we do our training and stuff, because it's just a long walk. So like, let me bring him out here and encourage him to just keep moving. That way he doesn't stop every 2 feet. And he's just gonna have to go to the bathroom on whatever he has access to, rather than when we're around town, I kind of let him stop and sniff every little bush and every little branch and every little twig. And I'm like, oh my goodness, come on. So even today, usually when we go on a dog park trip or where we're driving to a destination, I have him go potty before he gets in the car, because usually he's been in the house all day while I'm working and he just wouldn't go. Like nothing was acceptable to pee on in the block around our house, which we usually walk before we get in the car. So I was like, okay, well, you're just getting in the car then, I guess that's that. So anyway, but I hope you're doing well. Make sure to leave in the comments how things are going for you. I'm gonna give just some more life update stuff. If we have time to respond to a few comments, I will try, but no promises. But yeah, so, oh my gosh, I feel like there's so much to talk about. I did a whip and chat. Was that last week? Something along those lines. Talking about my Pennsylvania trip. So I hope you got a chance to see that. I was so bummed about how that video quality turned out. I tried to use my action camera, which you're on right now, but it does not work well for up close shots. For whatever reason, I think because it's meant to be used outdoors and get these wide, like landscape kind of shots, that it did not like being a few inches away from the canvas, and it just made everything kind of blurry and out of focus. But I was like, I'm not re-recording this. We're just gonna post it and hope for the best. But I have used it for live streaming before, and that seemed to work. So I think I just need to play with the settings a little bit and just kind of see what works. On the StreamYard, or on the StreamYard, when I do live streams, it looks fine. And to be honest, it looked okay in the viewfinder when I was filming, but it came out blurry. So, well. But anyway, so I did that update. So I guess we'll just keep going from there. So I got back from Mexico, or I'm sorry, I got back from Pennsylvania at the end of May, like the last day or two of May, that Sunday, last Sunday of May. Came home and just kind of regrouped. I was home for a little over a week, and then I was off to Mexico, maybe a week and a half. So had to take Apollo back to Dom and Brandon's. They've been the ones that have been dog sitting him. So took him back to Dom and Brandon's. It smells like corn out here, like roasting corn. It's so strange. Took him back, and then there was nothing really exciting that happened in between the two trips. Just getting caught up at work and trying to keep my head above water and not completely leave my coworkers in the lurch about, taking on all of my recruitments and stuff. So anyway, all that happened, but I was so ready for like a vacation. The Pennsylvania trip was amazing, but I was beat after that because I was doing so much driving and so much, just going to parks and walking and running around all the parks and then sleeping for a few hours and then back to the next one. So it was just a lot. It was a lot. And I felt kind of exhausted when I came back. So I was ready for like a regular vacation, just sit and relax. So left here, I don't know what days the Mexico trip happened, so I'm so sorry. It was all kind of a blur. June was kind of a blur. So left Denver to Cancun, and then me and a bunch of friends went in together for a bus to the actual resort. It was an all-inclusive resort called The Fives, and then Fives, all-inclusive resort in Playa del Carmen. So that's where we went, and it was so beautiful. And I got invited to this wedding later than most everybody, which I think we've talked about previously. And so by the time I went to go pick a room in the block of like rooms, the only thing that was available, or the cheapest thing that was available, was like a 1-bedroom swim-up pool, a swim-up suite at the resort. So we all go to check in, and I'm in line to check in with everyone. It's my turn to get in, talk to the check-in agent or the host there, and they're like, "Oh, hold on, let me look at your information again." So they're like looking at everything, and everybody else had an easy time, but I seem to have been the troublemaker. And then all of a sudden, some other person, like a manager, walks up and he's like, "Can you come with me, please?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, did I do something wrong? Did I not pay fully for this room? Like, what's happening?" They take me over to this like private check-in area that has like drinks and stuff and like little couches. Like, it's not just stand at a desk. You like sit down at a couch, and there's like a little table they pull up, and they're like, "We're so sorry about that, Mr. Harper." I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "He didn't realize that you had purchased one of the suites, and there's a private check-in for you over." Like, that's where they took me to. And I was like, "Oh my gosh." So I feel all fancy because like they pulled me away from my friends to go do this like separate check-in. And I'm like, I didn't pick this because I have money. I picked this because that's all that was available. But okay. And so they give me the whole check-in. I have this like different colored special wristband that gives you access to like a free massage once during your stay, like all this stuff, So they made me feel all fancy. And go to check in. It's this gorgeous room. If I still have the pictures from this trip or various points, I'll just insert them so you have them to see. But it's this gorgeous 1-bedroom room. You walk through the little kitchen, so it had a kitchen, into the living room, and then past the living room are these sliding doors that lead out to the pool. Like, you literally take one step out of the room and you're in the pool. And so that was really cool. And it had this little like a little porch, I guess. Not a balcony because it was a first floor, obviously, but just like this little porch area with a couple chairs, and then there was the bedroom. Hold on just a second, everyone. There's a whole gaggle of cyclists coming through, so we'll go this way because this will be the shorter route, and we'll probably just turn around at some point. Or we'll just go around the lake to finish things up, but I don't feel like doing the full 7 miles today. So yeah, there's the bedroom, beautiful bathroom, like huge bathroom with like the walk-in shower. Hi.
Thank you.
Like the big walk-in shower with the rain heads and stuff, and then the bedroom had its own sliding doors onto that same little porch, patio, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, it was stunning. They had chocolate covered strawberries and a bottle of champagne there waiting for me, as well as some other snacks and stuff. And then the fridge was like stocked with beer and wine and like everything. And I was like, oh, this is cute. So I like cracked open the champagne, had a glass and a couple chocolate strawberries when I walked in, and then put the remaining champagne in the fridge with some saran wrap over top because it was like a fully stocked kitchen. Little did I know that they would replace the champagne and the chocolate covered strawberries every day along with everything else. So I was there for 4 nights. Okay.
Sorry.
No problem. So yeah, so I do know the days. I was there Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, and then left Monday. Yeah, that's right. So 4 nights, 4 bottles of champagne. So I ended up just sharing it with all my friends because they didn't have that in their room. I was like, does anyone want a bottle of champagne? And so it was great. I've never been to an all-inclusive resort before, and I am a fan. I didn't think I was going to be a fan because that kind of reminds me of cruises, and I'm kind of iffy on cruises. I've said that I love them or I want to go on one. Then I changed my mind. I'm kind of iffy because I don't like being tied down to a specific schedule or itinerary. And I thought that maybe all-inclusives were going to be like, you have to have dinner at this time and you need to pre-select your dinners. And I just thought there was going to be a lot more fuss, but it was not the case. I just went and just walked around and did whatever I wanted. And it was so nice, like being able to lay out on the pool right outside my room and just relax. And one of the bars, the pool bar, it's not a swim up bar, but it was like a bar right next to the pool, was right there, like 10 steps away from my room. One of the restaurants there that did kind of an eclectic mix of food. It wasn't Mexican, it wasn't necessarily seafood, it was like a little bit of everything, was right there within walking distance to my room, and they were open for lunch and dinner. So starting at 11, I could just walk over and get food. 24-hour room service, which the room service was kind of but it was just so nice to have like easy access to everything and not have to go anywhere and not have to drive around and rush around. So I had an absolute blast. The only thing was, because I was part of the wedding party, is I did have to do a lot of the wedding party stuff that some of my friends didn't have to do because they were just guests. So like we had a welcome dinner for friends that were in the wedding party. So it was more of a kind of a party vibe because it was all the youngins, quote unquote, comparatively. And then we had the actual rehearsal dinner the night before the wedding on Friday night. And that was the one that, family was there, bride and groom's parents, a whole big family, all the kiddos, everybody. So that was a little bit more not uppity, but everyone's doing their little speeches and stuff. So I had to do that. So there was times where everyone's like hanging out in the pool, in the pool, like the main pool at the resort, getting drinks, having a good time, daiquiris and this and that. And then I've got to be like, oh, I have to go change for the thing, for the rehearsal dinner, or we had the actual wedding rehearsal earlier that day. So Friday was kind of a bust as far as like getting to chill with the crew. But of course I did get to meet up with friends afterwards, and we would go to, it was called the 1912 bar or something like that, and it was open till like 2 a.m. So we'd go hang out there and chit chat and just walk around the property and that kind of thing. The other part that wasn't ideal about this resort is that all the pools closed at, I think, 9. Hey, stop eating the grass. He's got like pent up energy and he's like, I'll just eat this grass. So that was it 9 or 10? Either way, it just felt too early. And I get it, like pools at night, safety reasons and stuff like that. But my hotel room backed up against the adults only pool, so no kids allowed. I'm like, at least leave the adults pool open a couple hours later. Like, why not? But it is what it is. So we kind of had to get out of the pool at 10 and then go hang out at that bar until whenever. And I am not a big party guy. I'm just too old and boring for that. But I tried to make a point of being one of the last ones around. I'm like, what else am I gonna do? It's not like I have to be to work tomorrow. So I was closing that 1912 bar down like pretty much every night we were there, like there till 2 a.m. Then it's like, okay, I got to be up at 9 for rehearsal. But I made it happen, and I don't think at the end of the trip, we were kind of all recapping our trips. I'm like, I was there till like 2, if not later, because we'd keep chatting outside the bar every night. And some of my friends were like, what? Because they'd kind of go to bed, and I'd just stay up with whoever was staying up. So, and there was a lot of my friend group, then MJ, her friend group from Pennsylvania, Alex's friend group, friends of friends, it was just a big mixed bag. So a lot of times I ended up hanging out with people that I had just met at that trip or on the trip, or maybe once or twice in passing when they visited Colorado. But yeah, it was kind of fun. I met some new friends of friends, and we've been hanging out here and there. MJ has a couple of nursing friends that live here in the Denver metro area that I hadn't really ever met, and now we've gone and done hikes together and stuff since then, so it's been really cool. So yeah, it was fun. They had like dancers and a band and different performances every night. There was activities during the day, all kinds of activities. There was so many different pools you could jump in and out of and walk around, and it was a blast. We didn't get too much beach time. We just did maybe a few hours at the beach, like on the sand total, just to hang out. But I'm not really a sunbather, and if you know what's going on in the Gulf of Mexico, there's a ton of, it's called sargassum, which is like an algae that has just been inundating the coastlines there in the Gulf of Mexico. And so the beaches were just covered in the stuff, and you couldn't really get in the beach. They did their best to kind of scrape it, or, shovel it out. But it was just a task that was kind of impossible. Like, as soon as they would scoop it out in the mornings, a bunch of it would come back. There was just never really any way you could walk from the sand into the ocean without getting covered in the stuff. And I tried, but it was just uncomfortable. And then I Googled it while I was there, and I guess it can cause like skin irritation and stuff. And it smells awful when it's decomposing. So it just wasn't great. Global warming, everyone. So I didn't get any real beach time. However, they had this seafood restaurant, and again, it's all inclusive. So you just walk up and you eat as much as you want. This seafood restaurant there on the beach, on the sand, that had ceviche and shrimp cocktail and shrimp tacos and like anything seafood related. And I posted up there a number of times. It was so good, so delicious. So that was my favorite spot. Wedding was beautiful. It wasn't at the resort, it was off site. So they bussed us about 25, 30-ish minutes further down the coastline to where the private beach was for the wedding. And since I was in the wedding party, I had to leave like a few hours earlier than everybody else that was just going to the wedding as a guest. So I kind of missed out on that day too, because we were doing photos and more rehearsal, all that stuff. But it was still fun. It was still fun. My buddy Jeff, my old roommate Jeff, was in the wedding too, so I did know him, and then I got to know some of the other groomsmen. So that was really nice. The wedding was spectacular. The music was great. It was so nice. Food was wonderful. They had a lit up dance floor, which was super cool. And they had these performers doing like drums at one point, and like just like little guest entertainers popping in throughout the evening. It was awesome. It was awesome. So we were there until I think midnight is when they kicked us off the dance floor. And then by that time, a lot of people had left because they were doing shuttles back to the resort all night for those that didn't want to stay the whole party. But once again, the younger ones stayed for pretty much the whole night. So we kind of shut that down. And then right towards the end, Alex and MJ did this thing. They brought out a full taco bar for the late nighters just to put some food in your stomach. So we all just sat around and had tacos, and it was great. They were walking around with, like, the bartenders and the servers were walking around with shots and drinks. Like, they just had trays of them. So you wasn't really even ordering anything at the actual bar. I was just getting served stuff all night. They're like, oh, this is a blah, blah, blah shot. I'm like, okay, whatever. And so it was great. Then we get back, and of course the 19 for a couple more hours. So we shut that place down again. It was a lot. It was a lot, but so much fun. And then of course I just have to stumble my way back to my hotel room and sleep it off. It was so cool. So then the next day, that Sunday, we did another little field trip, and this time we went to a cenote there. So that was about a 40-minute drive from the resort, and they shut down the cenote for us, family and friends, whoever wanted to do it in the wedding party. There's probably about 20 of us that ended up going, and you climb into this hole. Just looks like a hole in the ground, and you go down this really steep kind of ladder and stairs, and then it just opens up to this underground cenote with like stalactites and stalagmites and this beautiful clear water, and there's these fish in there, and you can look down and see how far deep it goes. It was like crazy deep, and you could go diving and snorkeling. It was just so much fun. So we spent a good few hours there. They had rented out the cenote for, I think we had 2 hours there. And then they started letting the public back in, and then we left shortly thereafter. Went back to the hotel, had another crazy night. I went a little bit lighter that night because my flight was the next morning, and then I was back out of there and back home. So it was so relaxing just to like lay out next to the pool with friends. And my room ended up being, because I was the only room out of the group that was connected to the adults only pool, so everyone was like gathering at outside of my room, the step out patio. So every day people would be like, hey, can we come hang out at your pool? Can we come hang out at your pool? Even versus the main like infinity pool that was at the like by the beach. Mine ended up being the one that got most frequently used because it was the quietest. Like we took up, there was maybe like 10 of us and then maybe like 6 or 7 other people, just general people staying at the hotel. So we kind of owned that pool for those days. And like I said, the bar was right there. And at a certain point, the bartender that was working that bar, since we were kind of the only people utilizing it, he just started coming over. He's like, who needs a refill? What can we get you? And at a certain point, we're like, just do 5 daiquiris. That should be enough for this time, and just give them to whoever. So, oh my gosh, it was a blast. We had such a good time, and it was so good to like connect with friends like that, like in a vacation setting. And like, I've never done I've only maybe done one other friend's vacation with like one or two other people, but never like a big old group like that where it's like all of my friends are here and we're all just like partying and having fun and dancing and going to get dinner together and like, where should we do dinner tonight? Let's do the Thai restaurant. Like, it was so good. I didn't see Alex and MJ that much because they were the bride and groom, so they had their whole families and all of their at-home friends, so they were kind of off doing their own stuff. We were kind of they called us like the Colorado friend group. So they were off doing their own stuff, but MJ did come to hang out with us at one point. She was like, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. People are asking me so many questions and I'm just a little stressed out. This was, I think, the day before the wedding. And so she just came and hid with the Colorado friends over in my room, just sat in the pool with us for maybe like an hour or two just to like decompress. I'm like, I'm glad that you have like somewhere to step away like this. And then the night before we left, we all did Thai food, a Thai restaurant that was there on property together, which was also fantastic. We did that as a giant, all of the friends, Pennsylvania friends, Jersey friends, Colorado friends, all got together. It was like a table of, I think there was 18 of us or something, 19, just took up like this whole section of the restaurant and just had a blast. And just a great time. I wanted to stay. I wish I would have added a couple more days onto it, even though it was pricey. Even if I would have been there by myself, or maybe like one or the other two other people were hanging out post-wedding, but just a couple days to myself, just to fully just lay there and maybe sleep and take naps and read. But it was more, there was some moments of that, but most of it was with friends, so we're just chatting and gabbing and kind of being in party mode, which I didn't mind. I did not mind. So I came back from that feeling very, very good and pretty well rested. So that puts us to the middle of June. From there, I'll just say in general, I've been doing a lot of walking and hiking with Apollo. Right, baby? Right? Yeah, come here. Come here. Hi. Hi, lover. He's like, let me off this leash. Let's go. Let's go. You sound like you're about to zoom. Are you about to zoom? You look zoomied. So lots of walking around and hiking with Apollo. I've been going way more frequently to Elitch Gardens because they have a roller coaster there called Sidewinder that's been closed for a few seasons. It just reopened a few weeks ago. Oh, yeah? About a month ago, I guess now. No, 3 weeks ago it opened. So I did a video, which I still haven't posted to my other channel, talking about the reopening and going on it for the first time in a long time. And then I had some friends from the roller coaster Instagram or Patreon that I belong to. One of them is from Massachusetts, I believe. Flew out and did a park in Utah and then came over and did Glenwood Springs with me and one other guy that's here local that's part of that Patreon. So we went up there to Glenwood. This was like third week of June, I think. I think that's right. That has to be right. And we got to go do some behind the scenes stuff and get a little tour from the general manager there, which was really cool. And then the next day, we went to Elitch Gardens together and Lakeside. So we did 3 parks over a weekend. So that was a lot of fun. And hopefully I'll get to see them again soon, which if I remember to talk about, we'll get to. I don't think we're going to respond to comments today, but it's okay. So did that. Then I had my birthday bash at Waterworld, like I've done for the past couple years. That was so much fun. We did that the second weekend of July, just with scheduling, and I didn't want to do it right when I got back from Mexico because I figured people would be kind of burnt out on on activities and stuff after we've all been traveling from Pennsylvania, Mexico, and then I'm like, let's do this party. So we waited a few weeks to get everyone back together to do that, and this was the biggest crowd that we've had, or that I've had for the Waterworld trip. We had 21 people, I think, this time. So a huge group at Waterworld, and we actually were able this time to coordinate, and I have a photo, I can put that in. Not everybody's in the photo because people were off going on rides or in line, but I tried to get as many people together for the photo as I could. But we did, towards the end of the day, get all of us together to go on one ride. So we kind of took that ride over, and we're in tubes, one behind the other. There was like 5 tubes worth of us, all one before the other. So we were all in like the rides in the dark areas going like, oh, ooh, like just making noises and splashing each other. And like, it just reminded me of like when I was a kid, and like if I went with a group to Waterworld, or like all the cousins went, it felt like I was a kid again. It was so much fun. And I got all emotional. I don't know why. I got emotional in Mexico too, because I'm just like, I'm so, like, sometimes I feel kind of isolated, and like those feelings of loneliness kind of creep in from time to time. And then I realize like I've got such a huge friend group. It's just a matter of reaching out and like engaging, and then it's good. But so I got emotional in Mexico. I'm like, I'm so lucky to have you girls, because I was hanging out with the girls a lot. And then at Waterworld, we're all in line together, and all just chit-chatting and laughing and cracking jokes and stuff. Like a huge group of us, and it's all my friends, and it's for my birthday. I'm just like, I'm so lucky. And I'm like, okay, I gotta get it together. But it was a lot of fun. So did that. And yeah, other than that, just kind of working and hanging out, planning my next trip. And yeah, we went camping. We're pretty much caught up now. We went camping this past weekend. Today is the 6th of August, by the way. We went camping this past weekend. It's just 7 of us. Maddie, one of Maddie's friends, Kat, and her husband, Tim, Joe and Maddie, Alex and MJ and I. So we went up camping in Red Feather Lakes area, which I've taken you up to. And then on our way down, we did a hike to Disappointment Falls, which is a place I've also taken you to. And it's the same location that was the background for one of the Summer with the Masters videos I did in 2024. I did a spotlight on like American West artwork, and in the background is like an old westerny kind of looking trail. I put a filter on it. That's that same hike that we did this past Sunday. So that was a lot of fun. And now here we are. Apollo, like I said, is doing good. Just being a little sniffy monster. And yeah, he's doing good. No real changes for him as far as like he's on the same food. We've been really consistent with all of the Apollo things. Definitely been hanging out with Dune more this summer because of all the dog watching that we've been doing for each other. And yeah, so that's going. Work's going good. Housing stuff's going good. Definitely settled into a nice routine with having Maddie there now. Doug, my other roommate, moved out, so that is another update. So it's just the 3 of us again, or just 3 of us again: Joe, Maddie, and myself. Apollo and Theo still get on each other's nerves, but they're buddies. It's really funny because Apollo is the rule enforcer, which I did not expect that out of his personality type. But Theo will like go to scratch on the couch, or he likes to scratch on one of the picture frames that we have hanging on the wall. For whatever reason, he loves scratching that particular like wooden frame. He loves scratching my little storage bins on the TV like entertainment console. And he loves, if there's an Amazon box or some kind of box or something around, he loves attacking them and biting them and chewing on them and making noise. And when it happens, Apollo hears it and he'll run to wherever Theo is and like do his little like play bounce at him, like, hey, you shouldn't be doing that. You're gonna get in trouble, because he always gets in trouble. Theo does. And then Theo turns around and is like, hisses at him and runs away. And I'm like, I did not think that you were the hall monitor type, Apollo, but apparently he is. He does not like when Theo gets into mischief. So it kind of makes me more comfortable leaving both of them alone during the day, because I know Apollo will run around and keep Theo from causing chaos. So it's pretty funny. But yeah, and work's going, like I said, work's going good. I haven't really been looking for anything else. I kind of, just with life stuff over the summer and just with work being busy, I just haven't had time or had the desire to sit down and put resumes out again. And to be quite honest, like, I really do love my job so much. And it terrifies me to let go of a team that I love and a manager or supervisor that is just so awesome. And the flexibility that I have at this job, the amount of vacation time I have, which is just kind of wild, the health, dental, and vision benefits, the pension, like, it's one of those jobs that like people would kill for, and then I'm over here like, I need to move. So I still plan on moving by August, so in a year, August of 2026. I talked to Alex and MJ because they have an apartment or a unit attached to their home, and they inherited those tenants when they bought the house, but they're thinking they want to change it up so they can do some improvements while the place is vacant and then rent it out again. And I expressed interest in renting it once they do that. So I'm earmarked for that place, and that's just down the street. And it would be really nice because Apollo would have Maverick to play with, and they have a fully enclosed yard that I would have access to. And it's still in Golden, like I said, just down the street. So that would be nice. And I don't think the rent would be too much more than what I'm currently paying. And it would be my own space. Like, they don't share, you go upstairs. It's basically the upstairs of their house is an apartment. So I would have my own space, but they want to put an air conditioner in there and do some other stuff. So like, maybe when the current tenant moves out, give us a couple months or a few months to do some renovations and just kind of update it and upgrade, and then it would be ready for you. I'm like, okay, cool. So we'll see. That's just, you know, we're just talking. Haven't signed a lease or anything. But yeah, so I was really stressing about it, as you know, earlier in the spring, about what am I gonna do, where am I gonna go? But I'm kind of just gonna go to take things day by day, not let it overwhelm me, knowing that I do have that option, and we'll take it from there. If something else does come up that I just can't pass on, then we'll reassess. But at least right now, I'm not like, I don't have much anxiety around housing right now. I'm just trying to enjoy the time that I do have at this house that I'm currently at. And I really do like being with Joe and Maddie. Things have definitely like leveled out, and we've kind of reconfigured this new dynamic at the house, and it's going well. So, and Maddie and Joe, they're gone a lot. Like, they love to do little mini road trips and go travel back home to Maddie's home state of Ohio. And so they're gone quite a bit. So quite often it feels like I have the place to myself. Hold on. So I'm not going to complain about that at all. So doing good in that regard too. Health-wise, feeling good. I did have, I guess I still have, what my doctor believes to be plantar fasciitis in my left foot. So this was like right after Mexico. It really started hurting, kind of the arch of my foot and the kind of the front end of my heel, I guess, where that plantar, that fascia connects to the heel. Oh, it was really inflamed and really painful there for a while. So I was having a tough time taking on Apollo on any kind of like decent walk. Like we were mainly just sticking around town, or I'd take him to the dog park just so I could stand there while he ran around. But I noticed that I was gaining a few pounds because I wasn't being as active. It, like, especially in the mornings, I would wake up and I was like limping. I went to the urgent care a few weeks ago because it was so bad that I just like couldn't put weight on it. I was like hopping around on one foot just to get around. I was like, that's it. We got to get this figured out. And it was so painful by the time I got to urgent care that I was like, should I get them to bring a wheelchair out for me? I was like, no, I'll just hop in there. And they're like, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm fine. Is this an emergency? Do we need to put you ahead of others that are waiting? I'm like, no, it's okay. I just need to sit down. So I had went to my primary care physician. They said it was plantar fasciitis. Do some stretches, use a towel, get a golf ball, freeze a bottle of water, roll that on your foot, all the, remedies. And I was doing those things, but one day, that day that I went to urgent care, I just woke up and it was just on fire and it was very inflamed. Like my foot looked swollen compared to the other one. So the physician at urgent care was like, it could just be a really bad flare-up of plantar fasciitis. You could have gout, who knows? And she's like, did you change your diet recently? And I'm like, well, I got back from Mexico like 3 weeks ago, so I don't think that would impact, but I went hard when I was in Mexico. Like, I drank way more than I normally do, and I was eating anything and everything in sight, and a lot of meats, lots of tacos. And she's like, it could have started, you could have triggered a bout of gout during that trip, and maybe it just took a little bit for it to really like impact you. She's like, I'm not sure, but just chill out with the heavy proteins, chill out with the being a little boozy, Playa del Carmen girly, and calm down. And I was like, okay. So they gave me some pretty heavy anti-inflammatories and ones that are like specific for like issues with the foot, plantar fasciitis, gout. She's like, hopefully this works. It probably is, it could be both, like a little bout of gout and plantar fasciitis will be recurring. Just let me know. I was like, okay. So I did my 5 days of anti-inflammatories, and I finished those not this past Tuesday, but the Tuesday before. Or maybe it was even a week before that. We might be that far. We're gonna flip around now. By the end of the 5 days, it was feeling like 80% better, so much better. And now it's 98% better. Like when I really flex my left foot up, like I'm gonna take a step and really put some weight on like that big toe and kind of that arch, I feel some irritation and pain. But I mean, I've been able to do hikes and all my stuff without major issue. So we've been back to doing about 4 to 5 miles a day. The other thing that they mentioned is I might want to look into getting some custom insoles, even though I have really good shoes, according to them, my Hokas. One thing that can really trigger plantar fasciitis pain is prolonged walking on hard surfaces. And since I walk Apollo around town and on trails, be it paved or not, we're walking on, hard dirt or pavement every day, miles and miles a day. So, or miles and miles a week. So I'm asking for it, but I'm not gonna not walk my boy. So I've got to figure out a way to just kind of treat it and try to do some more preventative stuff. So I've been doing some more stretches. If it was gout or something like that, then I've been trying to be proactive, and I started taking celery seed, which I guess is supposed to be really good for blood flow and like clearing clearing out the kidneys and all that stuff. And then I've also been drinking tart cherry juice, which is supposed to be good for urinary tract stuff and blood, keeping those like crystals from forming, it's like a type of acid that builds up, is like the cause of gout. So I just have been doing some stuff like that. So I feel much better. Like I said, I really have to like put all my weight on my left foot and kind of bend my foot up like I'm walking in high heels for it to hurt. But other than that, I'm good. And so I'm very happy. I spiral when stuff like that happens. So I was like, oh my gosh, like, what if this is just, I'm just in this level of pain and discomfort permanently? Maybe this is just life now, and I'm not going to be able to walk Apollo as much. And like, I'm really going to have to start like restricting my diet because I'm not getting as much exercise because my foot's all messed up. And like 6 days later, I'm like running around. Like the other day was like the first day I was able to jog with Apollo on a walk rather than just walk in quite some time. And I should have gone to the doctor about it like right when it started hurting. But I thought it was just maybe I had sprained something or stubbed my toe and not realized it. I was like, it'll be fine. But then like a week, almost 2 weeks later, and I'm like, can't even walk on it. So I was a hot mess there for a minute, but I'm back in business. And
Beautiful puppy dog.
oh, thank you. And I'm taking full advantage of my health insurance coverage, going to get a checkup. I'm going to go get a follow-up, and I'll probably start scheduling a relatively regular appointment with a podiatrist just to make sure that I'm, still doing okay. I looked into getting toe spacers to sleep with, but again, I think that round of anti-inflammatories really helped me knock it out. So if you have any other at-home things to do for plantar fasciitis or like foot-related pain, let me know, because I'm trying to put together a regimen so that doesn't ever happen again. But yeah, so that's pretty much life for me right now. Let's look at the time. We've got a good time. Battery. I'm not too concerned with the time. I could go on and on. I'm more concerned about, do I need to swap the battery? But we're looking okay. So yeah, that's pretty much everything up to now. As far as upcoming plans, I would still like to do a long weekend, like a 3-day trip to either Six Flags, I think it's called, Magic Mountain in California, and Busch Gardens. Knott's Berry Farm, I'm sorry, not Busch Gardens, Knott's Berry Farm. A 3-day. I'd like to either do that, or I'd like to do a long weekend to Six Flags Fiesta Texas in San Antonio. I've priced both of these trips out, including general prices for hotel rooms, park tickets, parking, all of that stuff. Both of them are gonna probably be somewhere in the $1,500 to $2,000 range for the trip all in. So I'm just trying to decide if that's something I really want to do this year, or if I want to do that some other time. And one of the big reasons for that is I was not smart in my planning for my trips this year. I should have gotten a season pass to Six Flags because they've merged with Cedar Fair, who manages Knott's Berry Farms. They manage all the Cedar Fair parks, like Cedar Point, and they now, since they merged with Six Flags, manage all the Six Flags parks. So if you get the right season pass, you can get access to all of those parks for one pass. Well, I didn't do that this year, and yet I will have gone to 1, 2, 3, 4 parks in that chain this year and could have easily purchased that season pass and still saved quite a bit, maybe like $100 or so bucks, and potentially have even gotten free parking, which would have saved me several $100s in parking fees by just getting the season pass at the beginning of the year. But I didn't really think that through, so I've just been buying everything a la carte. And so if I go to another, and I'll be going to one more in November, so that'll be like five or potentially even 6. So I'm like, should I try to fit in another Six Flags Cedar Fair park this year and have to do it a la carte? At this point, it just stings every time I go to a different one. Or just wait until next year, just buy the season pass, and then hopefully I'll be able to go to enough parks to make it worthwhile. So I don't know. Because, parking is sometimes $45, $50. The park ticket is $50. So you're looking at least $100 a day per park. And the season pass is like $170 and gets you access to all of them. So I'm like, why did I do this? So we'll see. I'm gonna think about it. If that fund money is burning a hole in my pocket, then later on this month or next month, I will pick one of those 2 parks to do a trip to. So then I have my trip in October. I'm going for a work conference. The 15th and the 16th of October are the days of the conference, but work pays for a hotel the night before, so you can fly in, and then the last night of the conference, so you fly out the next day. So I think that's a Wednesday and a Thursday, and then I'll be flying out the 17th, which is a Friday. But I decided to go a week early so I can do another roller coaster trip, and so I'll be doing. I'll be getting in on the 10th, Friday the 10th of October, pretty early in the morning, and getting a rental car at the airport. And this is in Nashville, by the way. So I'm going to Tennessee, driving from Nashville up to Louisville, Kentucky, and doing a half day at Kentucky Kingdom theme park. That's from 5 to 10 p.m. is when they're open that day, because it's a Friday. Then that night I drive up to Cincinnati. Then I have an Airbnb in Cincinnati for 2 nights. So I have it that Thursday night. Then Friday, the next day, I'm doing an entire day at Kings Island, and they're doing their Halloween event. And so they're open from 11 a.m. until midnight. So I'll be there for an entire super long day, which is good luck because there's a lot of roller coasters that I want to ride, and otherwise I don't think I'd be able to get a full day there. So, or get them all in a day. So having those extra hours should be helpful. And I'm hoping I'll get to do one of their haunted houses. And then I stay the night in Cincinnati that Saturday night. And then Sunday, I'm going to a place called Stricker's Grove, which is just outside of Cincinnati. And that is an amusement park that is private. It's on a farm, it's privately owned. And they typically only open for corporate events or weddings or birthday parties. They have 2 roller coasters there, but it's just closed to the public 99% of the year. But they have 2 public days throughout the year that they do where it's open to the public, and it just so happens that Sunday is one of them. So it lined up with this trip. So I'm going to Stricker's Grove to ride their 2 coasters, and they're rare credits to get because it's hard to time that. And it's not a huge park. It's not a destination theme park. So most people don't plan a whole trip around one of their public days. So it's mostly locals that'll get those credits, but I'll be able to do that. So I go and spend the morning there. They're open from noon to 8. most people that have been there have told me you can get in and out of there in like an hour because it's so small. So I'm gonna get in there, film, get out, and then I drive from there to Pigeon Forge, where I will be staying for 2 nights so I can go to Dollywood. So I drive from Cincinnati to Pigeon Forge. That first night, I'll be getting in pretty late, I'm assuming. It's like a 5.5 hour drive. And so I'll probably be doing a couple of mountain coasters that they have there in Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg, and then probably crashing. Then Monday, full day at Dollywood. So excited about that. I'm so excited about that. And then Tuesday, and they're open from, I think, 11 to 9 or 10 to 9, I think, 10 to 9. Doing a full day at Dollywood. Then Tuesday, another full day at Dollywood. I think there's going to be plenty to do to keep me busy for 2 full days. If I don't have enough to do that Tuesday or I finish up, then I'd like to leave, maybe do a half day, leave early and go do a hike or something through the Smoky Mountains. And then I'm back to Nashville for my conference Wednesday and Thursday, and then I'm out Friday. So a week trip. There's also a chance if I have time going from Nashville up to Louisville that I'll be able to stop at Mammoth Cave National Park to do a tour, a cave tour, but I don't know yet. That's just time permitting. So yeah, I'll have Kentucky Kingdom, Kings Island, Strickers Grove, Dollywood. So 4 parks on that trip. So that'll be cool. And I have some friends in Nashville that I'll probably be able to meet up with during the conference at night. So that'll be cool. And work's paying for that Airbnb once I get there and the flights to and from. So it's actually not that crazy expensive of a trip. The most expensive thing was the tickets and the parking and the meal pass and the skip the line for Dollywood. It's a lot. And they're also doing something called their autumn tasting menu or event. So you go and they have some seasonal dishes that you have to buy a separate pass to do some tasting of some of their seasonal dishes there. So I'm excited for that. And then my last trip for theme parks will be in November, and that's just a direct trip up to, I think it's Maryland. There's a Six Flags park there, so that's why I was complaining about the season pass. There's a Six Flags park there. I think it's called Six Flags America. I don't know the name of it. I forget. I'm so lost with trying to keep track of all these parks and stuff. I need to put a spreadsheet together because soon I'm going to forget even which rides I've been on. I need to put a spreadsheet together. But there's a park up there, I think I've mentioned it maybe before, that's closing. And I think it's November 12th is their last day in operation. Six Flags is closing it down. So there's a bunch of us, a big group of us from this roller coaster Instagram group that are going to make a pilgrimage out there on their closing day to give it a send-off. I've never been there before. I heard it's not that memorable of a park. Like, it's not that exciting, but it'll be fun from a social aspect to see a bunch of peeps there. So yeah, that's what's going on. We're at 18%, so we should be okay. Says the device is getting hot. We're getting a lot of direct sunlight and it's pretty warm out today as the sun goes down. So yeah, that's everything. As far as diamond painting goes, I just posted my announcement video for the pinup paint along. So I will be doing that through the month of September. Go watch that announcement video if you haven't already to learn more about what qualifies as pinup, which was just it's so much. I guess I'll talk a little bit about it. When I started doing research for the pinup artwork and culture, there's so many different facets to it, and it's so tied to American history, various wars. It's so tied to the feminist movements And there's just a lot of baggage around pinup artwork that I just didn't think about or didn't really consider. And so I did my best to water it down to a point that I could put something together to give examples and show what I'm looking at for pinup artwork, and give some like photos and examples of artists and different models and actresses and stuff. But I touched like one tiny ice cube on the entire iceberg of of pinup culture. It spans decades and decades. It's influenced by so many different things. It stands for so many things, positive or negative to each person. So I don't want, like, my biggest worry is that I'm celebrating an artwork style that some people might find is sexist or diminishes, female advances during that time, and just kind of dumbs it down to like pretty girls on a poster. But I will talk a little bit more about that probably in a live stream or something, because I've also heard the flip side. I've listened to podcasts and watched a lot of videos and read a few articles where on the flip side, some women see that artwork style as empowering, because it's like, okay, we're not just meant to be behind a kitchen, in the kitchen and cranking out babies and that. I don't know. It's as a man, I can't really speak to it in any sort of way. So it's hard to even like say this is what some women think. Like, who am I to say? But I'm still going to push through. There was a minute there where I'm like, maybe this is just too touchy of a subject for some people, and I shouldn't even be doing this. But I heard enough good things, and I don't think it's all pinup artwork is always associated with the objectification of women. So I hope I'm not upsetting anybody, and not at all my intention. And honestly, I didn't even think of it that way until I started learning more. And yeah, and just the time period from like the early 1900s all the way to like the 60s was kind of pinups kind of development through its decline. So there's just so much that happened socially and culturally in that time. That's like, out of all the things that went on during that time, you're gonna do a diamond painting event about the pretty girls. And it's like, dang it, but I am. So yeah, but I've learned a lot, and I hope I can share some with folks during a live stream, 2 live streams. And then I'm also doing a little dive into Henry Clive, similar to what I did with Alphonse Mucha. So yeah, and then we've got Mucha Mania in November and December. That'll probably be pretty casual too, with some live streams, and just general hanging out. And then that's all, folks. Still need to reach out to some content creators about participating in a farewell. I'd like to do kind of like a little mini marathon live stream on New Year's Eve, to ring in the new year, and that be the last video on the channel. And so I'm hoping Mia will agree to it. I just don't know if people have New Year's Eve plans, and midnight my time could be wildly different for midnight other people's times, or you know what I mean? So who knows? Maybe I'll do it the day before. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it all out. But there'll be something towards the end of the year as like let's just chill for a few hours and let's get Mia on, and got to see if Mary would be willing to do it, and maybe Jade, just some friends I've made along the way, And as far as D-Stash goes, that's most likely going to happen the more I think about it. Just having to move all of those kits seems very daunting. I just have to sit down and probably meditate and do some breathing exercises before I start picking which ones I want to let go of, because I don't want to let go of any of them. But I need to. So I've got to work on that. But again, I'll keep you all posted with hold on. 9% with what I end up doing there. Yeah, it's just tough. I don't want to let go of stuff, but I've over purchased. And yeah, actually, we still need to talk about my whips and stuff. So let me switch the battery out. 1 second. Okay, that was sad. I swapped the battery out, and then when I plugged it back in, it was showing me how many minutes I have left on this memory card, which, by the way, is not a small memory card at all. It's like, you have 3 minutes left, or 2 minutes left. I'm like, well, I'm glad I stopped then. And the reason why I only have that little of time left on this card is because I've been refusing to let go of all of my recorded clips from my Pennsylvania trip, like all the coaster clips and everything for the other channel. Even though all those videos are already done, they're posted, it's all live, but just letting go of those clips and like, just felt like I was letting go of those memories a little bit, even though I can always go back and watch those videos. Just like having, for some reason, I've been hanging on to them on this memory card, like, oh, the good times. So I had to delete a few of them so we could get a few more minutes. So now we're up to 19 minutes of storage time remaining, which will be plenty to get us back to the car. But so yeah, I was just talking about how trying to decide which kits to let go of from my stash is just going to be incredibly difficult. But something's got to give. The other thing that I've talked about this before, I really despise shipping stuff, and just the thought of having to buy all the boxes and the packing tape and the bags again, and calculating shipping for people and all that stuff is just not my favorite thing to do in the world. So, but it needs to happen. So I need to update my spreadsheet, my Google Doc that has my whole inventory of my stash. I was almost thinking of putting the D-stash price on the spreadsheet and just saying, hey everyone, I'm gonna be open to accepting requests to purchase a D-stash. Just click on this link, the price will be there, non-negotiable. If you want it, I'll calculate the shipping and give you the total, send you your invoice, and off you go. That way I wouldn't have to do like a live D-stash. But then again, I know a lot of people, including myself, have fun with those D-stash live streams. Last time I did one was a couple years back, and I got more traction on that thing than a lot of my regular videos. Like, everybody was on that live, and I think I sold every kit that I put up except for like maybe one or two. So I know it's successful and it's a good way to do it, but it's work. Remember the last time I did one, it was like a 2-hour video or a 2-hour live stream just talking about all the stuff. So, and I did giveaways with it and all sorts of stuff. So who knows what we'll do. But as soon as I have more information, I'll announce it. It'll most likely be sometime at the beginning of December is when I'm like, okay, we're doing this farewell live stream on this day. If I do a D-stash, we're gonna do the D-stash live on this day. So just be on the lookout. And then, yeah, as far as diamond painting goes, before I forget, I just want to mention Mary Mud, Mary Making Crafts, Mary Making and More, with all the names, is coming back around. Her shop's going back live, I think at the time of filming this, in a month, I think. Sometime in mid-September. So I'm super excited for that. I'm a little bummed because I don't really have too much of a reason to buy more Mary Mud. I don't think I've ever completely used one piece of Mary Mud. in all the time that I've had them. And so I don't know, but I'm gonna support her anyway, and maybe I'll purchase some for that D-stash to use in the D-stash. And I'm not gonna spoil any of the scents that she's releasing with the shop reopening, but I do happen to know about one of them. And I'm very thrilled. So, yeah. So make sure to, if you don't have her favorited or earmarked on Etsy, go and do that so you get notified when she comes back. But as far as my whips and what I have going on, I have Autumn by Alphonse Mucha and Jaded Gem Shop. That's the kit that I'm most active on right now. I'm about half a section away from finishing another row, and that'll put me at about 60% done. I'm gonna take a progress photo. I should be able to finish that tonight. Take a progress photo, and then I'm gonna flip it around and start working on it from the top down and meet myself in the middle. That way it's not dragging on the floor. I don't have to roll it up too much. I can just start on the other side. That's typically what I do with those big old Muchas, is just meet myself in the middle. So yeah, I'd say about 60% done. That's a 60 centimeter by 130 centimeter round. And I think it has, I forget how many colors. I think it's got like 45 colors, something like that. And it's pretty confetti heavy, but it is round, so I'm moving along pretty quickly. So I have that. Then I have Inner Garden by Yume Art and Diamond Art Club. That's a square drill. I don't know the size. That one I'm 15% done with. I'm doing a spiral, so I've gone across the bottom, up the top, and about halfway through the top up above. So I've made kind of a reverse capital C almost. And then I'm gonna go down and around. And I usually do that with canvases that size these days, but especially for this one because it's got a ton of background color blocking all around the border. So I figured might as well knock all that out and just get it out of the way. So once I finish my section on my Mucha tonight, depending on time, I might do another section of color blocking because it goes quickly. It's just a little monotonous, you know. So got that going. Then I have my three square drill, super confetti heavy kits that I ended up taking out of my room and putting in my basement storage closet. There's hanger space. I have them hung up because every time I saw them, I was guilting myself into having not worked on them for so long or not making any progress. And it would almost leave me kind of frozen where I'm like, maybe I just won't dive and paint tonight because I can't decide what to do and I feel bad. And I shouldn't feel bad. But I have Crusting by Iterations Crafts and the Creativity Squirrel. I have Cognac Biscuit by Alphonse Mucha and Diamond Painting Shop. And my Custom of Apollo, I haven't kitted it down yet, from Jaded Gem Shop. I just took all three of those and put them out of my line of sight. That way I can just be fine with what I'm working on, and when I get to them, I get to them. But I'd want to stop every time I think about what I should work on. I beat myself up for not picking one of those, but I'm just not very much in the mood for computer rendered. I mean, Cognac Biscuit I think is a hybrid render, but just very confetti heavy, time intensive square drills. They just take me a really long time to do a single section these days. And so I feel like I'm not making any progress and I get frustrated. And then I just continue this cycle of feeling bad about working on them, but then not loving working on them, at least right now. My tastes change constantly, as you well know. So I will get them done. I don't know about the Custom of Apollo. We'll see. But I'm not gonna kit it down just yet because who knows? In a year or so, maybe I'll want to do it. So I'm gonna keep it for now, maybe until I move, and then decide. But the other ones will get done. Crusting and Cognac Biscuit. Cognac Biscuit I'm gonna do for Mucha Mania. So that one's getting done. And cresting will get done. I'm just gonna pick at it. You know, once I finish a square kit, I'll pull it out, work on it for a while until I'm ready to move on to something with more color blocking, and then go back to the, who knows? It might be years before I get that kit done, but I will get it done. And I think I also felt really bad because, I mean, I did pay for that kit myself, but I have yet to have a finish from the Creativity Squirrel, and I love Bex over at the Creativity Squirrel. She's like one of my favorite shop owners that I've ever had the pleasure of working with or connecting with. So I want to have something to say, I did it and I love it and it's perfect and it's beautiful. And so far it is all of those things, but I feel like I'm not allowed to officially say that till I've done a full kit. I can say with what I have done, you should absolutely go check that shop out. The quality is fantastic, but it's just where my mood has not been confetti, heavy, detailed squares. I'm liking my Diamond Art Club kind of chunky boys, you know? So I don't know. Hold on. So yeah, I'm liking just the rendering style for squares right now that Diamond Art Club provides. But I'm gonna have to get out of that mindset eventually because so many of my square drill kits are from other shops that are incredibly detailed. There's that one, the Phoenix glaring in all directions from Jaded Gem Shop from our collaboration releases. That is every drill is a different color than the one next to it. So I don't even know. But yeah, so those three are in the basement. And then I have Garden of Earthly Delights, my center piece from Hieronymus Mosh and Jaded Gem Shop. Another incredibly confetti heavy square drill and a massive one at that. I am trying a little bit harder to pull that out and just put a few colors down because it's just so big that if I don't do something with it, I worry that I'll be like, it's too big, I have to move, I'm gonna bail on this, but I can't, I simply can't. I've invested too much money in that series of images that I can't let that go. So that one, I don't have a choice. I gotta get that done. So we'll see. But yeah, and then kitted up, not started, I have Winter Solace by Abraham Hunter in Diamond Art Club. That's my only kit that is kitted up, not started. I do have a kit that is not kitted up, but I have the drills sitting out and the storage and the stickers ready to go for when I'm in the mood to kit something up again. And that is Sedona Majesty by Abraham Hunter and Diamond Art Club. I've been wanting to work on that kit for so long. I haven't put a kit up at the office. I feel like the people at work are like, did you quit diamond painting? Because I haven't put anything up there, either because I've been giving everything away as gifts, or the stuff that I'm working on, it shows a little too much skin for the workplace. So for instance, I decided not to put Moon Girlfriend up there because her midriff is showing. So I'm not putting that up. That's gonna stay at home. And then Inner Garden is not nude, but I mean, she has her shirt open and it's her skeleton. I just worry that some people might take it the wrong way. So I'm not gonna put that up at work. I don't think I could put Autumn by Mutka up because it's too big. I don't know where I'd put that in the office, but also she's showing quite a bit of leg in that kind of silky dress. So I don't think that would work either. So I want something new to put up at the office, and I really don't have anything upcoming. Unless I like devoted myself to getting cresting done or something like that. So I was like, let me just pick a landscape, something that no one can turn their nose up to. It's not going to offend anyone. Let me pick just a landscape that I've got. And I didn't really feel like doing Winter Solace quite yet. So I was like, let me get Sedona Majesty out and I'll kit that up closer to when Inner Garden is done. And then I'll pull out cresting and kind of pick at that along with my other stuff. But that'll at least give me something that I can hang up. that should, I mean, it's fairly detailed and confetti heavy, but it should move pretty fast. So we'll see. Poor cresting. I'm so sorry, Bex. I think I've had this exact conversation with everyone about like why it's taken me so long, like a year ago. It's just, it has nothing to do with the shop. I can't stress that enough. Like I recommend you go and spend money there. I'll just say that. Like, go do it. Especially if you're a confetti lover, you love that computer rendering, you like a high amount of detail, go there. And I checked recently and cresting is still available, so go get it. It's a beautiful kit, and I've worked on one row and one column of it, and it's beautiful, and I love the colors, all those aquamarines and teals. So drill quality amazing, canvas amazing, even after all this time. But I've just, with my squares right now, I like to have like one big old chunk of whatever color and just knock it out and then do some detail work. But cresting is definitely lots of color blending, lots of detail work. So, but it's gonna look so good when it's done if I can manage. And also Creativity Squirrels putty, fantastic. And they also have a new-ish, at least to me, hybrid putty that's kind of like an alien putty, intergalactic putty. I think it's called like Sticky Bits or something. So you're gonna wanna check that out too. So yeah. And no purchases. Haven't purchased anything since March or April, I think, from any shops. Mary will probably change that. I'll probably get at least a few Mary muds, but no purchases. And I don't intend on making a purchase until Diamond Art Club releases From the Ground Up, aka Apocalyptic Garden from Ivy Dollamore. I have a long wish list on Diamond Art Club. I have about 12 kits on my wish list, but I told myself I'm not making any purchase until that kit is in the cart along with whatever else I get. I have to wait for that. I'm hoping that we see it over Black Friday. I'm hoping. And I'm hoping nothing on my wish list gets turned to a limited edition or discontinued, because that would really suck. But yeah, been saving a decent amount of money not buying any crafting supplies. The only thing I buy now is like stickers to kit up. I've got release paper out the wazoo too. Over here. So yeah, kind of off the grid. I haven't been really consuming that much diamond painting content. I've been trying, but yeah, I just haven't really been consuming that much diamond painting content. A, because I've been watching more roller coaster related stuff. B, because I don't want to get influenced into buying stuff that I don't need, diamond painting wise. And for YouTube, C, I've really started to get into learning about like just random how things work or like technology stuff. There's a YouTuber, it's called Technology Connections, and he'll talk about like a chest freezer and like how they work, what's the science behind how they work, pros and cons, all of that stuff, like learning about heat pumps and refrigeration systems. And I learned about how like old school pinball machines worked with all the relays and like all, it's just, I find it so fascinating, and I've been learning a lot. And especially like if I end up being a solo renter, if something like breaks and I don't want to wait for a landlord to fix it or something, like what are all the parts to an evaporative air cooler, and how would I replace that? Like, I'm learning a bunch of stuff about that. Homeowners should definitely check it out, because he teaches you a lot about a lot of different stuff. Everything from coffee makers to electrical panels to TVs, like it's pretty crazy. So I've just been oddly fascinated by that and kind of nerding out. And then a lot of audiobooks, my cozy mysteries that I like to listen to. I've been cranking through. Okay, we're back to the car. Sorry about that. And I realized I was talking longer than 19 minutes, so the SD card died or got filled. So we got back to the car and I'm like, okay, bye. And then I realized that the last like 3 minutes or 4 minutes of what I was saying got cut off. But anyway, I think where I left off was just talking about how my tastes and like the content that I'm consuming have changed. Lots of new YouTube channels, and then I've been really getting into my audiobooks again. So just like listening to some different stuff. And but I need to get back into my diamond painting content consumption and commenting and checking in on people's lives, because I don't want to lose the crafty friendships and connections that I've built as part of being a content creator for diamond painting. And I'm hoping that, you know, once I do wrap up this channel and move on to other things, I can still maintain those connections. So if I don't have your Instagram, or we haven't chatted on Instagram or something like that, where we can just chit chat like on messages, please send that over to me or message me on Instagram, because I'd still want to keep in touch for sure. So yeah, and that's about everything I was gonna say. I was talking about the new channel and how that's kind of becoming more of a photo album, a digital photo album with vlogs and stuff for my travels, as opposed to like, ooh, I want to grow this channel and I've got these goals and I like all this stuff. Like really, I think I'm going to be using that mainly when I go to new parks, or there's new rides at current parks that I've already been to that I'm able to revisit, like local ones and stuff, as opposed to having a set schedule or trying to crank out videos or like drive engagement and stuff. It's more just kind of a way for me to remember all the fun stuff that I've decided that I'm going to start doing with my spare time and what time I have, and be able to look back on that in the future and share it with friends and family, and of course share it with you all and anybody that stumbles upon it. But you know, as far as like creating content of like, oh, I want to do a video where I do rankings of this, or my top whatever. Maybe, but I don't know if that's necessarily my number one priority now. I think right now it's just, you know, if it's a few months before I get a chance to travel again, then there'll be a break on the channel until I have some new parks and stuff to experience and share with everyone. So we'll see. It's evolving, but I hope you'll come along with me. But anyway, don't forget to like, subscribe here. On this channel, if you so choose, if you haven't already, if you're discovering this channel for the first time, there's so much content to go through and peruse, and I'll still be posting on here. Got events coming up, got a bunch of stuff coming up, so still be here. And you can also check out my other channel, focusing on theme park and roller coaster vlogs and travel. It's called Coaster Pursuit, and I'll put a link to that in the description, so make sure to check that out too. But that's that. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. I'll get to responding to some comments soon. Maybe need to do a marathon responding to comments video, but we'll see. Anyway, thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you next time. Happy placing. Bye. Bye.